Boys, today we're gonna be creating the absolute worst fighter in UFC history, probably in all of mankind history as well. Now, pretty much you can see on screen we have an outline of a fighter. We are gonna be putting random fighters, not random, but the worst of the worst in each category. I have the head of the fighter, the eyes, the chin, shoulder, chest, the belly, right arm, right leg, left leg, knees, feet. Then you can see we have the fight schedule, the cardio, fight IQ, power, striking offense, striking defense, grappling offense, grappling defense, and then the output. And we have a different fighter for every single one of those categories. There's going to be no repeats. I'm trying to do... I'm not using retired fighters, but if they're still semi-relevant, best believe they're going to be on this list. So that being said, be prepared, because when I make this fighter on that outline portion, they're going to be cursed as hell. It's going to be one of the most cursed pictures I've ever created and ever seen in my life. But yeah, once this video is over, you guys have to let me know what should we call this new mythical fighter. But to start it all off, the head of this fighter, I think it's an obvious choice of Mr. Johnny Walker himself. Now, the reason I chose Johnny Walker and not someone else is mainly because, Johnny Walker is, when I see him fight, majority of the time he does get knocked out is when it's hit straight on that temple. So having that glass temple, as I guess you could say, that's why he's going in that head position. And trust me, shit's gonna get very cursed very, very fast. Moving up to the eyes. Yes, I could have had someone like a Shara Bullet having that one eye. I could have had a Bisping also with a one eye, but I'm not looking more of those eyes itself. I'm looking to the eyebrows, the flesh above the eyes, and for that reason, I'm going with Nate Diaz, because once our fighter gets a single jab to the face, either he's getting knocked out or he's getting cut open bad. So Nate Diaz in that eye spot, and already you can see he's looking pretty cursed. But with that being said, let's keep moving down. We have a bunch of categories to get through. Chin, I think this is a no-brainer. When you think of some of the worst chins in the UFC, specifically like nowadays, some glass chins, especially nowadays, and being in like lower weight classes, Cody Garbrandt has to have the worst chin in maybe in like UFC history, to be honest. And having Johnny Walker be in that light heavyweight area, it gives him some grace because he's fighting light heavyweights. But Cody Garbrandt fighting these smaller weight classes and still getting knocked out, it just shows that that chin is definitely one of the worst in UFC. So right here, the whole head alone, this guy's looking like a new mythical fighter. But moving down to the shoulders, I went with someone who, I was thinking of someone like a Jan Blachowicz, because he just recently had double shoulder surgery, and that would be a good fit for him. But at the end of the day, he's still like a light heavyweight. He's still semi-strong. I'm going with someone who's also in that lighter weight class. He is retired right now, but he's had these shoulder injuries for his whole career pretty much. And his last fight, it showed it terribly when it kept repeatedly coming out of its socket. So I'm going with the currently retired, might come back, TJ Dillashaw. You can't tell me someone has worse shoulders in the UFC than TJ Dillashaw. Keep moving down. The chest. Now, there's a good argument to have someone like a John Jones just completely ripping his pec off. That's a good argument, but I have John Jones in a different category. So right now, chest, you either go with a fat blob or you go with someone who has no muscle or anything and just a stick. So I'm going with, he doesn't look like this anymore. This is a young Chase Hooper when he was just a little twink of a thing. So Chase Hooper in that chest area, perfect area for it. And yeah, it's just getting worse and worse. It's looking more cursed than ever. And I think this is going to get even worse when we get into this belly area, because surprise, surprise, we're adding a heavyweight blob into this area. Now, to be honest, I was trying to find just like the fattest guy in the heavyweight division to put here, and I think it might be Chris Barnett. This guy has a massive belly on him, plus he's like one of the shortest guys in that heavyweight division. So yeah, a little bit clash of skin tones right now, but it is what it is. Right now, just an absolute unit of a fighter here. I don't know what weight class I should put this guy in, so let me know in the comments below what weight class should this guy be and what should his fight style be, because I didn't do that in this video, but let me know in the comments below what should it be. Keep moving over though. We have the arms now, the right arm and left arm. Two different fighters I have for here. Pretty much I'm looking for fighters that don't have that much power to them. I'm not going to put like a flyweight or featherweight or even like a bantamweight fighter here just because they are in that lighter weight class. I'm trying to go with a heavier fighter, so someone who should be more powerful and put down a harder hit. I'm putting those guys here because if they can't knock anyone down being in a higher weight class, that just shows that there's really not that much power behind those shots. Now on that right arm, we have someone who, you know, more of an output guy, no real power to those shots. That's going to be Colby Covington. And to be honest, I didn't know Colby Covington and TJ Dillashaw's like tattoos like almost aligned perfectly. It was pretty crazy while I was making this, but yeah, putting Colby Covington here. I'm looking at this now and I kind of regret it because we're going to give that left arm a huge reach advantage. It's going to look so wonky, but we're giving him a huge reach advantage. I think I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have switched it out with people who have like T-Rex arms like a Paulo Costa, but we got John Jones. The thinking here was, you know, both of these guys have like 0 finishes to their name. Both of these guys, like, you don't really have to worry about the hands. The hands never really hurt anybody. Even John Jones, I'm pretty sure he's never dropped anyone with his hands. It's more about the elbows than the actual hands itself. And same thing with Colby Covington. But thinking about it now, I kind of messed this one up because I'm thinking about power. When I have down the list, there's going to be a power category. So maybe I should have just put like little tiny T-Rex arms here instead. But let's keep moving down. Regardless, we can't change it now. We've already made this guy. Moving down to that right side of the leg now, we're going with Chris Weidman. Obviously, that's because that's a leg he broke against Silva. And, you know, yes, it is fixed now, but still an injury has been made there. Still not going to be as perfect as other people. Then left leg, I'm going with Anthony Smith, mainly because this man has like a bet on himself to never catch any leg kicks, so perfect place to have that leg there. Best believe this fighter is gonna get his leg chewed up if he chooses to put that left leg there. Best believe it's getting chewed up and never getting checked. If it goes to that right leg, you know, maybe it'll get checked a little bit more. Maybe that leg will be a little bit more active, throwing shots here and there, but there's that possibility of another snap. But moving over to the knees. Now this is where it gets crazy because adding these knees makes it look so crazy. And I think there's only one person you can really put here. This guy has been known to have those like glass knees, having to walk downstairs backwards. We all know this guy has terrible knees because of his wrestling day. We know that his knees are just shot up, and that's going to be Kamaru Usman. Literally looks like little raisins now, but this just makes it look like I'm adding little raisins on this guy, but it's crazy. This guy is so cursed. Let's finish making this fighter as worse as possible. Let's go with those feet. I don't think there's anyone else other than a Conor McGregor to put there. You know, broke his shin. His shin was a balloon. His foot was a balloon. Perfect place for Conor McGregor. And now let's quickly go over and just finish off this legendary fighter with all the stuff you can't really see physically. Starting off with that fight schedule. Of course, we got to go with Khamzat Chimaev. We're going to get like one fight every year and a half. This guy's going to be super inactive. He's going to be a GOAT. Trust me. He's going to need all that inactivity because he's going to get his ass beat 24/7. Every second in that cage, he's going to get beat. Let's keep moving down, though, to the cardio aspect. We got Shamil Gaziev, the blob himself, gassed out in, I think, like the first few minutes of that Jairzinho fight. So best believe cardio. I believe this guy has probably the worst cardio in UFC. Doesn't help that he's a fat blob, but cardio definitely for Shamil. Let's keep moving down to that fight IQ. Now, you know, there's talk that you could have Cody Garbrandt here because I feel like Cody has more, I feel like his fight IQ is worse than his chin, to be honest. If you have good fight IQ, you can protect your chin and be relatively safe, but his IQ has gone up a little bit more than before when he was just trying to like bang it out. So yeah, it has gotten better. Plus we already have him in that chin category. So the next worst, right now, this might be the worst fight IQ fighter in the UFC, especially in the top of the division. We're talking about Michael Chandler. Best believe this man has the worst IQ in the UFC. Probably could have a pretty decent run in the UFC right now if he wasn't so stupid. Like, let's just look back and think of Charles Oliveira fight. He probably, if he had better IQ, could have finished that fight, become champion. Justin Gaethje fight. If he wasn't such an idiot and just having his hands down and letting Gaethje piece him up and dropping him, there's an argument to be made he could have won that fight. Same with Dustin Poirier. Pretty much all of his losses, there's arguments to be made that if he was just not like on the spectrum, he could have won that fight. But to keep moving down to the power category. Now, this one might be controversial. This guy's not as well known as the fighters that I've listed off so far. Definitely the most unknown fighter compared to everyone else. Not the biggest name value, but definitely someone that if you've been watching, you should know. He's not like at the bottom of the division or anything. And that's going to be Azul Alambayev. Now, the reason is, I believe this guy has 20 wins. And out of those 20 wins, one of them has been by KO and 2 of them have been by like ground and pound TKO stoppages. Absolutely no power in this man's hands. Plus, he's in that lower weight division, so best believe he probably has the least amount of power in the UFC. Now, there's arguments to be made about what about someone like a Ben Askren and stuff like that. And yes, Ben Askren could easily go into this category, or even like the striking category. Best believe he could easily go in there, but not as relevant. You know, he is retired, doesn't have his name in there anymore, so that's why I just don't have Ben Askren. But yes, if we were going off like all time, yeah, Ben Askren could easily go in this list. But let's keep moving over to striking offense. Now, this guy and Azul could switch. Not really, though. This guy could go into that power category, but we're just going to put him in striking offense because it's quite terrible. It's going to be Ryan Hall. Pretty much like a Ben Askren if you really think about it. Just as bad striking offense as Ben Askren. Definitely doesn't throw anything with any type of technique, but moving over to striking defense, this might be very, very surprising that I put this guy here. He is a champion. We only have 2 champions on this list, and that's going to be this guy and John Jones that I listed with his left arm. But striking defense, we're going with Alexandre Pantoja. Now, you might be wondering, why would you pick Pantoja as one of the worst striking defense in the UFC? You guys have to go back and watch his fights. If you guys are questioning this, go back and watch specifically, like it could be any fight that goes the distance, specifically that goes the distance. If it ends in the first round, it's not really worth watching. Go watch his latest title defense against Steve Ercik and tell me this man has 0 striking defense. At one time, he's just walking forward, letting Ercik just piece him up, which is, you know, maybe also bad fight IQ, but definitely bad striking defense. Moving over though, we're at that grappling side. These ones should be relatively easy, especially on that defense side, but the offensive side might be a surprising pick, but I'm going with my boy Tai Tuivasa, mainly because I don't think I've ever seen this boy shoot a takedown. If he has tried to shoot a takedown, he's never got it down. At least from what I remember, he's never got a submission win. Like I said, I don't think this boy's ever taken any opponent to the ground. I'd be surprised if he's ever trained any sort of grappling offense or anything like that. For that reason, Tai Tuivasa definitely going to be our pick for grappling offense, but grappling defense now. This guy literally got taken down in a boxing match a few weeks ago. We're talking about the boy, Darren Till. Pretty obvious one. Darren Till probably has definitely one of the worst grappling defenses in the entire UFC. Once he gets down to the ground, it's over pretty much. So yeah, we have one more category to go through now. We have that output. How many strikes is our character going to throw each round? And you know, this guy's a high-level fighter. He's in the top 10 at least in the bantamweight division. Just recently fought for the title. Talking about Chito Vera, this man throws 6 punches around and lands a lucky hard punt. And it's only because he has good power that he's able to drop his opponent and win that round. But other than that, if he didn't have power, the lack of output on this boy, insane. So best believe this is definitely the worst fighter we could ever make in the UFC. Now, if you guys want me to make the best fighter next, let me know in the comments below, but we need to name this mythical fighter. So let me know in the comments below, what should we name this guy? What weight division should he be in? And what's his fighting style? Let me know in the comments below. Absolute cursed video, but I hope you guys enjoyed. We're on that goal to get to 500 subscribers. So if you haven't yet, leave a like on this video and subscribe with those post notifications turned on so you never miss any of these rare videos. And you know, with that being said, there's really not that much else left to say, so I will see you guys in my next video.